Peace, y'all. What's up? Peace. What's up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's good. Listen, I wanted to jump on here real quick. You know what I mean? Because a lot of our questions that we get, a lot of it has to do with pertaining to actually selling the land after you get it, right? So what I think a lot of people are unaware of are what are the specific skills and strategies that you need to actually have to put into place in order for you to actually be successful at selling your land in a timely manner, right? That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about, right? Well, first of all, before I start this off, right, I want to let you know about a couple of different things. Sometimes the people that come and join us have no actual, they don't want to go ahead and sell the land. They want to keep the property in their family for generations to come. That's one of the things that they would like to do. However, there is a whole nother subset of people who come in and they actually want to go ahead and flip the land and bring themselves to a position where they can actually hold on to the land and actually sell it or whatever the case may be. So two different things that what we talk about, right? But for all of my people who want to come in and generate income as far as it's concerned, here is something that I want to touch on, right? The first thing I would do after I acquired one of these properties and I knew that I actually wanted to sell it, the first thing I would do is I would go ahead and put out neighbor letters in that specific area where I actually acquired this property, right? Here's the reason why I would do this, right? When I'm dealing with neighbor letters, as far as properties are concerned, based off of our research, we've been doing this for a long time. We've been buying and selling land for the past 8 years, right? And based off of the research from what we compiled inside of our data, the people who actually want to buy the property based off of the things that we've actually had in our system and calculated are people that live within a 1.5 to a 2 mile radius based on where that actual subject property is, right? So once we know that, here's what we're going to do. We're going to send out neighbor letters in that general vicinity inside of that area, right? And here's the reason why we're going to do that. Based off of the information that I just gave you, I know that those actual buyers are inside of there. So here's what we'll do. After those neighbor letters are sent out, here's how the verbiage would be on those actual letters. The verbiage will be, listen, I'm a new investor inside of this particular area. I don't know if you knew or not, but this property that I have, it is for sale. Before I go ahead and push this property out to the general public, I wanted to give you first right of refusal so you could go ahead and purchase this property at a slightly discounted price. Based off of that, I'm offering the property to you first, right? So when I'm offering the property to them first as an actual discount, basically what they're going to do is they're going to come even closer to actually purchasing that property from me because I know that that's the highest and best use, and I know that's what they want those properties for. They want those properties to actually stay inside of that ecosystem, and the highest and best use are the people that live around the property, right? Let's give you another one, right? Land brokers. For anybody who is not familiar, right? Land brokers are the equivalent to real estate agents, right? Except they specifically deal in land. So once I have that product, that property out there in that actual marketplace, here's what I'm going to actually do. I'm going to put myself in a position where I'm going to contact the land brokers that are inside of these areas, right? And I'm not talking about regular land brokers either, right? These people have been professionals inside of this actual marketplace for 10, 20 years, or whatever the case may be. They understand the lay of the land, and one of the most important things that they do is they have an actual buyer's list, right? Anybody knows you've been dealing with our real estate for any period of time. Once somebody has an actual buyer's list, that means that they have somebody to actually actively market that property to in order to get that property sold, right? So that's one of the things, right? And here's another caveat that I want to add to that too as well, right? When you're dealing with land brokers, there are specific questions that you're going to need to ask them, right? Because here's the thing. You can get a bad land broker too as well, right? You can get a bad land broker. And let me give you what the definition of a bad land broker is. The definition of a bad land broker is somebody who goes ahead, who slaps the property on the MLS and does absolutely nothing else in order to get that property sold, right? That is the equivalent to what we call a bad land broker, right? Because somebody who's a professional land broker, they understand that it might take a little bit more in order to sell this property inside of this marketplace, right? So some of the questions that I may have or coming out initially when I'm talking to that land broker, interviewing them to actually get the listing for me, here's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to say verbatim. What are the things that you actually do in order to help this property sell faster? Now, what I'm looking for inside of the statement when they're actually coming back to me, I'm looking for them to say things saying like, I'm going to go out there and take professional pictures, right? I'm going to go out there and fly a drone over the property. I have an existing buyers list already, and based off of that existing buyer list, I'm able to market that property to the people that I already know are looking to purchase properties in that specific area. Those are some of the things that you actually want to know. And when it comes to dealing with land brokers as well, you have to hold them accountable, right? So what I mean by holding them accountable, I mean is this. They're only going to do to you what you allow them to actually do, right? But once you understand the game and you know, they're not going to play with you too much inside of that area because they're going to understand that you're not a new investor. This is not something that's new to you. And we expect them to be transparent, and we expect them to be and for lack of a better word, do the right thing as far as the listing. Because remember, they are not actually bringing us anything. We're bringing them the actual listing, right? And when we're bringing them that actual listing, we expect for them to do the right thing by that listing as far as getting that property sold or doing everything that they can in order to get that property sold. So anybody that's on the line right now and you are definitely interested in the land business, go ahead and comment the word learn. Once you comment that word learn, we are having our class this Thursday. You'll be able to jump in and we'll break all of this stuff down in more detail, where we'll be able to give you everything as far as the land business is concerned, the ins and outs and everything like that. So just go ahead and comment the word learn, and we're going to send you over the invitation so you get invited to our class that's going on Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So with that said, right, dealing with these land brokers are very, 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 very special thing, because they can make or break your actual deal. Now, the thing you need to do is to be able to discern which actual person is a good land broker and the other one who is a bad land broker. That's what you're going to need to learn, right? A couple of different caveats that I think of inside of that spaces. I also actually look at how many properties they have actually on that market as well, right? That's another indicator that I'm looking at. Why? Because if I'm dealing with somebody that's new, they might not have sold a lot of properties or whatever the case may be. So I'm definitely going to be looking for someone who has experience inside of that area, someone who could go ahead and sell these properties relatively fast for me. You know what I mean? Because this is what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to turn over these properties as fast as I can. Now, here's the thing that happens when you actually break bread with these actual land brokers. Now, with you actually calling them and asking for their assistance as far as you selling the property, once you break bread with these people, your word is as good as gold. So what do I mean by your word is as good as gold? This means that based off of this, right? Now, anytime I give them a call and ask them to actually evaluate any property or anything that I actually have going on, what happens from that standpoint is they move relatively faster, because we have ate together, we have broken bread together, and now I'm not somebody just calling you, ripping apart, asking you for a lot of different, information, and you don't know if I'm serious or not. Once I've actually cracked through that actual barrier, this means you know that I'm an excellent person in order for you to do business with, and on top of that, we've made money together, right? So when we're dealing with these land brokers, right, here's something else I wanted to add inside of this actual thing, right? Let's just say we're dealing with a specific county that we're working in, right? Based off of that specific county and what we're talking about, right? Usually these land brokers inside of these areas work different counties as well, right? So based off of them working different counties, what we're going to tell them after we finish doing deals inside that area is we're going to ask them, what other counties do you work inside of that particular area that you're working in, right? They may give you a list of other counties. So what does that do as far as putting you above board or putting you above game, right? This means that you already have somebody that's already inside of your existing ecosystem who can put you in a position to evaluate these properties in these new markets, quickly discerning for you whether this property is a good deal or a bad deal, right? By this time, you'll have title companies in place. You have land broker in place. You have everything in place already in order for you to go ahead and take that actual deal into the next stages as far as getting that actual property listed and on the market, right? Very, very intricate when it comes to that, right? So I'm gonna give you three, and this is my last one when it comes to that, right? So anybody who has just jumped on and you are interested in the land business, we are having our webinar this Thursday. Go ahead and comment the word learn inside of the chat. Once you comment that word learn, we're going to send you over an invite to our class where we'll be breaking it down step by step and showing exactly how you can get in the land business, how you can acquire these new skills, and how you can benefit from buying undervalued land and turn around and selling these properties for actual full market value. Definitely something that I want you to understand, right? Because we're coming in a point in time right now where new skill sets are going to be prevalent, right? Because if you are not getting the actual results that you want out of what you're doing, this is a clear line. This is a clear line that something that you're doing is wrong. Something that you're doing is off, right? So based off of it being off, it's a clear line of indication, which means you have to do something different, right? The old you does not qualify for new results, right? The old you does not qualify for new results, right? So if you want something different, you have to do something different, right? Remember, y'all, this is basic math, right? Input controls output. That's just what it is. What you're putting in is going to be what you get out, right? Now, there's a maturation process in between the middle of you becoming that actual person that it will work for, right? And it's a big difference in between the two, right? A lot of people come into an industry. Now, it doesn't have to be land. It could be anything. It could be stocks, could be forex, could be crypto, or whatever the case may be, and don't see immediate results and start to turn around and go back to the what they were doing before, right? When really, in that maturation process, what's really happening is you are becoming the person who it would actually work for, right? And inside of that space right there, right? Inside of that space where you feel like you don't see any tangible results, where you feel like things are not happening as fast, what you're doing in real time is becoming the person who that thing would actually work for, which means there's going to be a gap, right? I always give the example of the two guys down south who are they're working out in the field, and one of his friends doesn't understand the concept of a well, right? So he yells from the other side, "Go ahead and pump the well. I'm gonna keep continuing doing the work over here, and once you get the well up and running, we'll go do work on the other side," right? So the guy's pumping the well, pumping the well, pumping the well. He doesn't see anything physically happening. So what happens is he stops. See, this is what we were talking about before. He stops. Remember, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, right? Now, this is where wisdom comes in. Wisdom comes in and said that actual water is coming from all the way down in the ground. And as you keep pumping and pumping and pumping, it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up. But you can't actually physically view it or see it, so you think that something's not happening. Like I said before, you are becoming the person who these things would actually work for, right? We always talk about a lot of these things, somebody quitting 3 feet from goal, right? Now, you can put yourself in a position where you're working on something, right? You're working on something, whatever that goal is or whatever that thing you have inside of your head that you're constantly working on, right? But then again, like I said before, you're not seeing the physical results. So most people, the average person, is going to turn around. 95 to 96% of the people are going to turn around and go right back to what they were doing before. However, like we talked about before, if you were to stay doing that very thing that you were doing before, this is where your biggest wins come. This is where your results come from, right? And like I said before, absence of evidence is not evidence of its absence, which means that just because you don't see anything happen, for all of my spiritual people on here, right? You may not see something happen physically, but spiritually, these things are always working for you, right? And once you